and welcome to the Intel Brief. Today is Monday, 24 Feb. I'm your host Daniel, and today we'll be covering the results of the German election. Zelenskyy has offered to quit in return for NATO entry for Ukraine, and European leaders are in Kyiv to mark 3 years of the war. Firstly, the Conservative Union bloc, composed of the Christian Democratic Union and its Bavarian sister party, the Christian Social Union Party, celebrated a victory in the 2025 German federal elections, with their leader Friedrich Merz proclaiming success on election night in Berlin. Despite their win, the mood at the party headquarters was subdued, as the union had anticipated a stronger performance, aiming for 30+% on X, but only managed to secure about 28% of the vote. This outcome falls short of allowing them to govern alone, necessitating the search for coalition partners to achieve a governing majority under Germany's proportional representation system. The election also saw a significant rise in support for the Alternate for Germany Party, or AfD, a populist party with segments deemed far-right extremists, which secured the second highest share of votes at 20%. The party's co-leader, Alice Weidel, highlighted the party's growth, stating that the CDU and CSU could only fulfill their campaign promises by collaborating with the AfD. However, Friedrich Merz and the Union have firmly excluded any coalition with the AfD, citing major ideological differences on several key issues, including foreign policy and European integration. The political landscape is further complicated by the poor performance of the Social Democrats and the Greens, both potential coalition partners for the Union. The Social Democrats recorded their worst results since 1890, adding another layer of challenges as the Union seeks to form a viable government. So what? Germans voted clearly for change, much like every other European country has done that has gone to the ballot in the last few years. However, the majority of the country voted for a somewhat subtler change, voting for the Conservative Party over the AfD, which is widely considered to be far right. While their boost in popularity is notable, it is highly unlikely they will get any power in this government. Yet, it is possible that if the situation in Germany doesn't change, then the AfD may win the majority in the next election. And next, President Volodymyr Zelenskyy of Ukraine has offered a bold proposal during a press conference in Kyiv, stating that he would resign from his position immediately if it guaranteed Ukraine's membership in NATO, framing his potential resignation as a sacrifice for national peace and security. This statement comes amid ongoing tensions and the third adversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of the country. In a further plea for support, Zelenskyy expressed a desire for the United States under Donald Trump to engage more deeply with Ukraine, seeking a role beyond mere mediation between Ukraine and Russia. His comments underline the strained relations between the two countries, with Trump recently intensifying criticism by labeling Zelenskyy a dictator and erroneously accusing Ukraine of instigating the conflict, all while suggesting that both Russia and Ukraine leaders meet to negotiate an end to the conflict. In addition to the political maneuvers, Zelenskyy discussed security and economic strategies, urging Trump to provide concrete security guarantees to Ukraine. He highlighted the ongoing negotiations that might allow the US to access Ukraine's natural resources in exchange for continued security assistance, with potential deals on rare earth minerals close to being finalized with Trump's special envoy. Zelenskyy also pushed back on claims that Ukraine owes the US $500 billion for wartime support, citing data from Germany's Kiel Institute for the World Economy that places the total of US aid at $114 billion. His remarks emphasized that such financial aid should be seen as grants rather than loans, contrasting the approaches of the US and the European Union, and reflecting the broader geopolitical and financial complexities facing Ukraine in the war. So what? In my personal opinion, Zelenskyy is absolutely smashing it. He stayed at the start of the war and has continued to prove to be a good wartime leader. This statement is no different. It goes against all the negative media that is currently being put out about him and the Ukrainian government. However, one thing he needs to improve on is how he deals with Trump. Regardless of your thoughts about Trump, Zelenskyy needs to improve how he deals with him, or else it seems likely Trump will withdraw all support. Putin has shown his skill in dealing with Trump, both during his last tenure and in the last few weeks. He shows that he knows the man. Due to this, Zelenskyy and Ukraine are likely to suffer if Zelenskyy cannot personally improve his relationship with the US leader. And lastly, on the third anniversary of the conflict between Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine has hosted European leaders in a significant summit in Kyiv, highlighting solidarity and shared stakes with Europe amidst the ongoing war. Zelenskyy's administration, however, noted the absence of top US officials. This underscores a pivot by the US administration towards Moscow. This shift comes amid escalating tensions marked by Trump's harsh criticisms of Zelenskyy, whom he labeled a dictator and wrongly accused of initiating the conflict. These developments have coincided with US engaging in direct talks with Russia and Saudi Arabia, notably excluding Ukraine and any European representation. In Kiev today, European leaders, including the European Commission President, the European Council President, and various European presidents and prime ministers, have gathered to demonstrate their support for Ukraine. The Assembly discussed crucial matters such as the need for increased defence spending and strategic unity against the backdrop of Zelenskyy's push for a stronger collective European military posture. The Ukrainian president emphasized the necessity of achieving peace through strength, wisdom, and unity, underscoring the broader implications for Europe's destiny. Meanwhile, Ukraine's deputy prime minister indicated that they were close to finalizing a significant deal with the US for access to its mineral resources. So what? Similarly to the last story, this division between Ukraine and the US seems to come from the personal issues between Zelenskyy and Trump. It is likely that if Zelenskyy can change his tact with Trump, then the relationship will likely improve, both personally and at the national level. Regardless, it is likely that the EU will provide enough support to continue with the defence of Ukraine while Trump tries to secure his peace deal. One thing that will almost certainly cripple Ukraine is if Trump prematurely removes sanctions on Russia, allowing them to recover economically before a deal is reached. This would likely be the final nail in Ukraine's coffin, as the only real thing that is currently going in their favour is the damage to the Russian economy. Thank you for tuning in to the Intel Brief, your daily update on global geopolitics, brought to you by HM Intelligence. You can support the show by sharing it with your friends and leaving us a 5-star review. And if you're curious to learn more about intelligence, you could check out one of our courses in the description below. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel, and I'll see you next time.